What's cracking YouTube? How's everybody doing this fine afternoon? Hopefully nice and peachy. Welcome back to my big old trucking fam out there. I just got out of the 595 truck stop down in Davie, Florida, and guess who I saw coming in? I saw the mother trucker himself, Mr. Asian Mai. Man, he was just pulling out with his pretty little red four-wheeler, and it was good to see him. I honked at him a little bit, gave him the honks. But yeah, I'm making a little short trip today, just up to Vero Beach on I-95, and I figured I'd cover another, like, sort of a part two to a video I posted earlier, working on your own truck and maintaining your own truck. And now I want to cover today basically how are you going to do that. I want to cover what kind of tools do I have in my toolbox. Basically, what kind of tools do I believe every trucker should have? So what kind of basic things he needs to have in order to uh, make some basic repairs on the road or in a truck stop or where have you. So once I get to Vero Beach, I'll break down what I got in my toolbox, maybe a few little extras here and there doing that little extra tougher job. But yeah, I'll catch you when I get there. All right, boys and girls, we made it. We're in Vero Beach. Time to pull in right here to this TA. Time to chillax a little bit. Here we go on this way here. Well, they're doing construction over here. Got the cones out. Making a mess. I guess they never got the memo that we're showing up. Well, alrighty. Pull in here. And then time to go some parking spot shopping. See what's going on. Ooh, that's a bumpy road. Well, I'm liking that one right there. I'm going to have to flip around and get that. Yep. All right, guys. So here's a basic look on some things that I carry with me in my truck at all times. I consider most of these basics, basically to have with you just in case anything were to fail on you on the side of the road. It's good to have a few of these things with you. And now keep in mind, a lot of things you want to tailor specifically to your truck, whether you be driving a Volvo or a Freight Shaker or a Peterbilt, Kenworth, or whatever you have. Each truck is different and it should be catered to what you drive. So here's a few things. Starting off here with, you got your SAE basic standard wrenches set, and then you got your metric. Because in a lot of trucks, like I said, if you get a Volvo or a Freightliner, mind you, is a product of Mercedes, so a lot of things are going to be metric. Um, Next on the list, you got to have your vice grips. You got to have them. They're the basic necessities, um, just like any other tool. Then I have my tape measure, which I use for obvious reasons what a tape measure is used for, but additional things like measuring your load in the back. If you got some extra space, you need to fit a couple or more pallets, that's a good thing to have with you. Next up, we've got my old crusty box of sockets. It's got a few years on it, so no judgments, but it does the job. It's a big mess, but I've got all the sizes just as I do with the metric and SE wrenches. And then I got the impact sizes, larger sizes. For my little extra step on top of the basics is having an electric impact, a cordless impact, as well as a screw gun. And then I've got the pneumatic one, but we'll get to that later. Next up, I've got a good little trusty set of screwdriver bits, and a screwdriver. Well, unfortunately, in my truck specifically, I've got all sorts of bits that I need to have, whether it be Torx, it would be Phillips, it would be flathead. Heck, I even found some of those Canadian squarehead ones. Forgive me, I forget the name of those. Next up, what I've got on the list is your tire plug kit. If I could get this open now. Your tire plug kit, because you know what, tires are expensive, and if you got to change your tires every time you put a bolt in it or a screw or whatever, that's going to cost you a lot of money. So if you can save yourself the hassle, get yourself one of these kits. It's a lifesaver, believe me. And then you've got to have your WD-40. You can't leave home without WD-40 on the road. What I also have is some of the anti-seize, because you know, and I figured if you're going to take something apart, you might as well do it the right way when you're putting it back together. Why not make your life easier? Because someday you're going to have to take it off again, most likely. Put some anti-seize on it. Then I've got my Teflon thread sealant in case you're doing some airlines or you're doing some fittings. That's always a great thing to have with you, that or the Teflon tape. And then you got your side cutters, you got your needle nose pliers. And what I like to have also is these electrical wire cutters, or strippers, excuse me, as well as these right here, pinchers. Then, of course, the very, very, very basic, you got to have your tire chuck, and you got to have your tire gauge, pressure gauge. Now, a step further for me, when I say specifically for my truck, what I have is for my Davco fuel water separator. You got the plastic sleeve that comes around it. I use this to loosen up because I do change my filters myself. Next up, I've got the trusty old bendable magnet, because believe me, if you've done anything with mechanics, you're going to lose a bolt in the engine, and that's no bueno. That's no fun. Then you got your other basic tools. You got your channel locks, and then you got your monkey wrench. I use also the breaker bar for a lot of things, because bigger bolts means bigger force. So you got to be prepared for that, especially when I do a lot of things with the reefer, whether it be tightening the belt tensioners. So next up, I've got obviously a hammer. You got to have a hammer with you. That's basics. And you got to have your I got a small little crowbar that comes with me everywhere. You never know when you're going to need it. It's there in the toolbox in case I ever do. And that's about it for the basics for me, with a couple of little extras. I also carry, as far as further things, I do carry a set of drill bits, because there's been occasions when I did need them, whether it be fixing the skirts, for example, on the side of my reefer. And the brackets, believe it or not, I have no idea when that happened, but they fell off, and the whole thing was wagging away on the side of the road when I was driving. And you definitely don't want things flapping away when you're going down the road. That's not safe. Um, and I've got a coil of wire just in case I would ever need it. It's a thicker gauge, just to cover all bases. And in the NX toolbox on that side, I've got more of butt connectors, more of the electrical types of things. I do have shrink tubing and all those things necessary for electrical. And that would include, of course, the basic DOTs requirements such as your fuses, your light bulbs, and all that spiel. So yeah, that's kind of my setup here. Now, guys, I briefly touched on the subject of having extras, what I would consider extra on top of the basic tools. And what I mean by that is things like a 30-ton bottle jack, for example. And just in case the cordless impact doesn't work, I do have a torque multiplier that I can use to take out the rims and tires. And I do have a beaded tire and rim under the trailer, so I can change out the tire myself rather than going to a shop. With the pneumatic tools, obviously comes with a pneumatic hose. Um, and to that, I've taken it upon myself to add a fitting to one of the air tanks that I have rather than connecting to the trailer pigtails. Um, just out of convenience to be able to reach everywhere on the truck. Well, this also comes wheel chocks. You got to have wheel chocks with you in case you're doing work like that on the truck. And then the very basic I would consider too is to have a set of jumper cables because you never know when that battery decides to go on you. When that's all said and done, what I've got is a 5-gallon jug of water and soap to wash it all up so you don't end up smearing all that stuff all over the nice interior of your truck. And another thing outside of all that would be a leaf blower. Now, I've learned a lesson from somebody way back when that this really comes in handy when it comes time to cleaning out your trailer rather than sweeping it out. And it's it's a lifesaver. Try it, guys. So on that note, remember, guys, tailor your toolbox, tailor your tools to your truck specifically and to your needs specifically. And don't ever allow yourself to be put in a position where you're stuck on the side of the road and there's nothing you can do about it because you're lacking the proper tools with you in order to make a simple fix. And with that note, guys, thank you for joining me again on the Highway Cowboy channel. And remember, stay safe out there. Stay vigilant, and I'll catch you on the next one.